Today I'm sharing this lovely little project with you. Hello, I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an absolute craft addict based in the UK. My first love, of course, is paper crafting. So I'm going to show you how to fold, cut and create the Ottaway. Look at this gorgeous card. I am making this purely for the joy of it. I've seen it around a few times and I thought it was about time I brought some joy into your lives and share with you how to make it too. So whether you're a beginner or you just need a crafty fix, I'm going to walk you through step by step. No stress, just crafty joy and fun. Hello to my crafty otters if you're watching. It is lovely to have you here. Crafty Otter Club is my YouTube membership club and we have lots of extra special fun there. Behind the scenes stuff. Just honestly, we had the best laugh yesterday with air dry clay. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want a little bit more of me and extra tutorials and all sorts of fun and just a lovely crafting community, click the join button and just have a little look at what we're all about and come join us. So today's make, honestly, there's no agenda with this card. I've made loads of fun fold cards and I just love this. It makes me think of springtime and summer days and all sorts of things, and I'm in need of that right now. So we just need a few supplies. So if I put this to one side and just bring that in, there's the sizes that we need in inches and centimeters. Not too taxing. We're basically going to use a blank card base and then we're going to add lots of beautiful paper, perfect for stash busting this one. From all of those hordes of paper, if you're like me, you've got loads. If you'll notice, this is an old Stampin' Up! Celebrations paper that I absolutely love. And I know I've seen some versions of this card where the inside paper is covered up for your personal message, but I just love the paper. I wanted it to shine, and I think that the pinwheel does that. And then there's a message, a place on the back. What I would do actually is die cut a beautiful shape, maybe with some stitching around, and then write my personal message on there. Yeah, so I'll let you screenshot that and then I will show you what we need. This is a square card. So what I've started with is a square card base. So this base size that I'm using is 5 inches. So it's 5 inches by 10 inches is your base piece of card. And then we're going to fold it in half at the 5 inches to make your card. So 10 inches folded in half is 5 inches, and that is our base card all done. Okay, so very simple to do this. Then what we're going to do now is we're going to use our paper trimmer. I've got a Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer that's got scoring and cutting blade on it, and I'm going to use that to make the pinwheel on the front. I first saw this card many moons ago. I mean, I'm talking years ago, probably 5 or more, on Iced Images. So go and check out hers because she's got amazing cards on there as well on YouTube. And some of the top tips she gave along the way are just so perfect. I'm going to replicate them. She does a much bigger card and she does it with Designer Series paper, I believe, to start with, although she's probably done an updated one since. So what do you need to do? You need a pencil. You're going to need a rubber, a pencil, something to poke a hole in, some Designer Series paper. Now I've chosen this for my background piece just because I think it looks very skyy, obviously. And I've randomly gone through my paper stash and picked some paper that I think coordinates. Literally all different sheets of paper. You're going to need 4 squares that are 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Now I've got loads of 6 by 6 sheets, so unfortunately I'm only going to get 1 square out of each sheet. but that's okay. I've had this paper a while now and I can use the extra bits for something else. It's just sitting there gathering dust, and I'd rather it was on the pinwheel card. So you're not going to need 2 sheets in one pattern, or basically you need 2 squares that are 3¼ by 3¼ so however you need it, you end up with 2 of those, and then you're going to cut them diagonally. Okay, so you end up with triangles and they will make the flaps on your pinwheel. So you need 2 squares that are in one pattern, and then you need 2 squares that are another pattern. You do exactly the same, you cut them diagonally, and I'll talk you through that in a minute. I'm not just going to leave you with that. And that's it, that's all you need. Oh no, do you know what else you need? Anybody remember these brads? Don't tend to be used so much anymore for paper crafting. Well, not in the stuff I've seen, unless you make mini albums. I tend to use them a lot in my mini albums, but not so much on my card making. Journaling and tags, you use these as well. They're those split pins that just open up, and these ones are actually shaped. I've got a ton of these, so I'm really excited that I actually getting to use one. So yeah, maybe I'll make a whole load of pinwheel cards, but I've used that as well. And the only other thing I've done, when I did my first pinwheel card, I noticed that you could see the crossover bits. So I've just punched out that shape. It's got like a flower shape. Don't know if you can see it. Can you see it that side better? And that is going to go in there so that it covers all my middle sections. Now that's not necessary, it's just an added touch that I wanted to do on mine. Okay, shall we get crafting? So if you've got your base card 5 inches by 10 inches, you've scored it in half at 5 inches, you've got your card. Now I'm going to use my paper trimmer for all of this. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I need to find out where my pinwheel is going to be. So I'm going to draw a pencil line diagonally on the front of my card. Now I open it out to do it, and what I'm looking to do is this running groove here on my paper trimmer, the bit that your cutting blade cuts into. I'm going to put the point of my card here, and then the bottom bit of my card, I'm trying to get it so you can see the whole thing. So I've got the point of my card there, and then diagonally I've got the other point here. So I can see that's the point, that's the point. I put that down and I use my pencil very lightly and my ruler guide to just help me do a pencil line. I'm going to turn it sideways and I'm going to do exactly the same again. So point there, the point there, and then the point at the top. My camera needs to be up higher, doesn't it? Okay, you get the idea. And then I put it down again, and just lightly again I do another pencil mark there. Can you see? So I've got a cross or a diagonal X, if you like, on the front of my card. Now when I cut into this, I don't want to go right to the middle, so I need to know where to stop cutting. So I'm going to put that pencil line back on. So there, oh, can you see that? There at the top and there at the bottom. Just make it as straight as I can. And then I'm going to use my paper trimmer. There is a 1 centimetre, a 1 inch mark there, and the line follows down roughly, so I'm going to put a little pencil mark there. Okay, and then the same is this side, not so easy to see, so I'm going to come up from the bottom there. So that's roughly 1 inch either side. Okay, now I'm going to do the same this way. So I'm lining up my pencil mark at the top and the bottom, looking for my 1 inch, just following the line down roughly. You could measure it with a ruler if you want to be exact. Okay, so now I end up with 4 little marks on my cross. The only other thing you want to do is on the fold of your card, so this bit here, you need to measure up at 3 inches, so, or 2 inches down, because I've got a 5-inch card. So put my card at 2 inches, okay, and where my running or cutting line is, that's roughly where I want a mark. So it's 3 inches up from the bottom. Does that make sense? Let me just run through that again. So we did a diagonal pencil line across to make a big cross, like a treasure mark, a pirate's treasure mark, my granddaughter would be saying. And then we go up an inch on each diagonal line. Does that make sense? I feel like I've just made that even more complicated. And then on the fold of your card, you're going to go up 3 inches so that you've got a little mark there, and all will be explained in a minute. Okay, so you can breathe. Okay, so what you're going to do now is line it back up. The pencil marks are being lined back up exactly the same. Can you see that? So lining them up at the top and the bottom. Okay, now where this pencil mark is across there, that is where I want to cut up from there upwards. So I'm going to use my finger to put that under. I'm going to have a look where the pencil mark is, and just with my eye I'm going to put my finger where roughly it is, and then I'm going to let go and push down and go straight up. Okay, and I can see that I need to come down a tiny fraction bit more, and it really is a little bit. So now that piece is cut, so I'm going to go down to the bottom, if you can see, and do exactly the same again. So use my finger as my pencil mark here, and also to keep the cutting blade up, push it down. I can feel that it's gripping the card, and then I go down to the corner and I can hear it cutting, and I have a little look, and I've done the same again. I'm a bit too cautious and I need to go up a little bit more. Oh, and again, let's have a look. So that's now up to my mark. So then I spin the card. So now what I've got is a cut there and a cut there. Spin my card to the other diagonal. Line up the pencil mark again. So line it up on my cutting groove, top and bottom. And I'm looking to do the same. So pencil mark is there, cross is there. So about there, I think. Let's have a look. Oh, spot on. And then I'm going to do it down again. Let's move that so you can see. So it's about there. Down to the bottom. Perfect. So now I've got 4 cuts, one on each diagonal line. The last one I need to do is I need to cut from here down. So I know that my card is 5. So I'm going to put it at the 5 inches mark. And again, I'm going to get my cutting blade, put it down where I think it is, and cut down. It feels like it's very vicious because it's barely hanging on there, but honestly, it is all good. Okay, then I'm going to get my trusty rubber and I'm going to rub out my pencil marks, and because I did them lightly, I'm not going to see them. Okay, not that you will notice them anyway, but it just makes for a neater card. Okay, I don't know who I'm going to give this to either. I think my granddaughter would love it. Normally I've got somebody in mind when I do a card. Do you? Because it sort of makes you think about what paper you're using and what sentiment you're using. That's where I usually go. I think of somebody. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to do the paper. So we're going to put all of the designer series paper on. So this back piece is going to be the sky. I think like that. So this needs to be 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. Now I want this bit, so I'm going to spin it round and cut it at 4 7/8, and that just leaves me an eighth of an inch inside my square. And then I want this bit kept, so I'm going to cut that at 4 7/8 as well, just there, like so. So I've got 2 spare bits to put to one side, and then I've got my glue, and I'm just going to stick that right on. So loving this glue. I used to use Tombow glue religiously, but I just couldn't squeeze it anymore. So Barely Art Precision Craft glue. No commission, I just really like it. So if you're looking for a glue and you struggle a bit like me with arthritis, I have found this much easier to use. Okay, so that covers up basically the whole of my back piece, because that is going to be the sky behind my pinwheel. Like this one has got the grass behind my pinwheel, very spring-like. Okay, so now what I need to decide is which way round I want these triangles. Do I want that one pattern on that side or that pattern? Oh, I don't know. I think I am going to go with this one. I put this pattern on the inside and the stripy on the outside. So I think I'm going to do different. I'm going to put stripy on the inside. I've no idea why. I just feel like a change. Okay, before I glue anything down, I am just placing my triangles on and making sure that I have got my sizes all right. Oh, shall I show you how I cut the paper first for the triangles? Okay, they look okay. Let's bring that in. So I've got my 6 by 6 piece of paper, and I need a 3 1/4 square. So I'm just going to cut down at 3 1/4, just like that. I spin it round at 3 1/4. Okay, like that. And I'm going to double check myself, 3 1/4, because it's really important that the squares are 3 1/4. Now that I'm happy with that, okay, it's a 3 1/4 inch square. Now I need to decide about cutting it. So I need to cut it into a triangle. So the same as we did when we were doing the pencil mark, I am making sure that the point of my square is on my cutting groove, and I'm holding it with my finger, and I bring it round until it's lined up at the top. And then all I do is hold that up, put the blade in the middle, push down so it's gripped, it's not going to move anywhere, go up and then down, and you get really nice sharp points on your triangle as well. That's it. That's absolutely it. Let's move that out of the way, and let's carry on with our... Oh, lost a triangle. Look at that. I'd have been looking for that forever. You cannot trick me anymore. Okay, so they're gonna go on, and it doesn't matter which way round they go because it's just part of the pattern. She says, now thinking, does it matter? I'm not sure. Okay, let's just go for it. So I'm going to glue these all on this back side. Okay, there's one. So you might want to fast forward this. I don't edit my videos. I feel like it's really important to be warts and all. Does that make sense? It's like real time crafting. So if you want to, you can literally just craft along with me. It'd be like you're in the room with me and we're having a chat. I love that. So yeah, if you don't want any of that, whiz me forward till all the glue triangles are done. Okay. Or go make a cup of tea, and by the time you've come back, grab a chocolate biscuit as well Can't say no to a chocolate biscuit. And then by the time you come back, I'll have done this. Oh, right, there's that one. Now the card weight that I'm using, the white card, is 300 GSM, so it's a slightly thicker card. If you've got some really lovely thick designer series paper, somebody like Echo Park do really lovely thick papers, then you may not need to use a card blank. You could possibly get away with just using the DSP, so you wouldn't have to cut all these triangles. You would just do your base card in the designer series paper, depending on how thick you want the card, but I really want mine to stand up. So that one's done. Onto the front, and we're just going to check these ones as well are the right size. So that one and that one looks about right. This one and this one. Excited to see how this turns out. I'm sort of wishing I'd used a designer series paper that didn't have so much white in it, because I'm not sure it's going to stand out as much as I want it to, but we're going with it now, so that will be a lesson learned, wouldn't it? Use darker paper on white card. But you never know, it might turn out absolutely lovely and I'll be excited. I think it's keep looking at this one. This is very vibrant and bright, whereas this one at the moment looks a bit, I mean, I don't dislike it, I'm just not so excited with the paper. Maybe that's why it's been in my stash for a long time, because I never could find the right card. Or those beautiful papers, you know, the beautiful papers that you just, wow, just stroke. We've all got those. I think I've got some that are like, oh, I don't want to admit it, 10 plus years waiting for the right project. Oh, actually, no, not waiting for the right project, because I've got some projects, but waiting for the right time for me to be able to do it justice, to cut it, and not just do it on a quick rush job. Does that make sense? I feel better saying that. It's not that I haven't got the right project. Okay, I'm just going to leave that just for a minute to set, just because I'm going to be bending all the card in a minute and talk you through the next bit. So basically now we're going to fold over the edges to make the pinwheel, and I'm going to use my rubber, and I'm going to use this pokey tool. Now I've got a couple of different pokey tools, but this is like longer for me to hold, and it's got a longer pokey bit. Does that make sense? I also need my brad ready, and I need this ready. So I'm going to put this, make a hole in the middle of this already, so I know I've done that. The reason I use the rubber is because then I'm not making holes in anything other than the rubber, and the rubber's very forgiving. Do I need to do anything else? No, I don't think so. So the paper's quite thick, or the card's quite thick, like I said. So when I fold it over, it's like, hang on a minute. So what I tend to do is give it a little bit of help with a bone folder, just smoothing it a bit, okay? And then I line it up. So this is my first triangle. I put my rubber there, and what I'm looking to do is bring this edge down in line about there, and then I want to make a hole. Now the hole doesn't want to be too near the edge because you don't want it to split, but it doesn't want to be so far back that all your points show. So just judge where you think it's going to be. I think it's going to be there, and you just poke that in, and that's your first hole, okay? And then I turn the card around and I do exactly the same thing again. So I just rub down with my bone folder while holding the paper up, just to give me a bit of bend. Okay, I'm not trying to fold it in half, I'm just bending it over. Okay, and I'm going to do the same. I'm lining it up, and then I press down a bit, and I'm looking for where I want that hole to be. Okay, and then I can stab it. Some good therapy going on now. Okay, so the same again. You can see where I've burnished the paper, telling it what I need it to do. It's already shaping. So bring that over, try and line it up the same, find a hole where I want it to be. Okay, like that. Is there one more to do? Yeah. So this is the one that's along the edge of your card. Okay. So that's going to go along there. And this is where I think, have I cut it enough? Yeah. I think I'm going to cut it up a little bit more because it doesn't feel like it wants to bend. Okay, so I went up 3 inches. I'm just going up a little bit, like 1/4 of an inch. Let's see if that helps. Okay. Ah, much better. Okay, and the last one is there. So that's that one. And then I'm going to put this under the middle piece here, and I'm going to put a hole there. Okay, because it's easier to do it now. Okay. Oh, I'm excited. Okay. So we're going to push our bread through this bit like that. Which bit am I starting with? Shall I start with that bit? Because that's like the opening of the card. So I've poked it through. Now I'm going to do the next bit. Poke it through. Ooh. And the next bit. Poke it through. And the next bit. It's the last bit, so it's quite tricky. You've got to really fiddle about underneath the card. Get your fingers in. Oh, I'm excited. It's the perfect make. Okay, so all of those are through, but now I've got to push it through there. So it's not going to want to go because the card is thick. I'm going to make it go, really force it through. Put that on there, that on there. Oh, I should have, that's what I needed to do. Die cut another of those pieces, punch another of those shapes and put it on the back. So I'll do that afterwards. Okay, so there's your card. You can see it's like not very happy, it doesn't know where to go. So what you're going to do is push down on this bit, but not on this bit. And you're just going to go down and just help the pinwheel know where it's got to sit. Okay, so not on this bit, you're pushing on this bit, and it will just give you a nice flatter shape. Oh, look at that. Ta-da! And what's really lovely is the colours go, and it's like the sky underneath. Now you can see where I've pushed so blooming hard, I've gone right through with the sky. You see the little holes? So it hasn't gone all the way through, and what I can do is put a lovely little sentiment there that will be hidden by this bit and cover up my holes, and there you have a pinwheel card. Ta-da! I'm going to bring the other one in, see what you think. Oh, my goodness, do you know what? I wasn't sure about these colours, but I actually really love it. So there you go. Until next time, happy crafting, and don't forget to be kind to yourself. Thank you so much for crafting with me today. I hope you gave, oh, I'm getting excited. I hope you give, I hope you give it a go, actually. I really do. I know it's just a fun card, and who are you going to give it to? There'll be somebody that needs some joy in their life. This is the perfect joyful card to give. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment because I always reply. And don't forget, if you're not already a subscriber and you'd like more cozy papercraft ideas every week, subscribe. And don't forget also, because I just love it so much, there's also my Crafty Otter Club for exclusive tutorials and a lovely creative community. The link is in the description below. I think that's it. I think that's all my tick boxes. I'm going to go with the blue card because that's my favourite. I hope you have a lovely crafty day and that you've enjoyed crafting with me. Thanks for watching.